Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live.
Gangstagrass live stream Friday night hangout with the band. Look at that banjo. It's beautiful.
It is a sexy banjo.
TB11.
It is a beautiful band.
That's right.
Banjo.
I'll be right back. I have to take care of a squirrel problem.
Okay, cool. Bye.
We
I know
all.
how that is.
We should probably give it a minute anyway. Let people trickle in.
Yes.
But for those of you who are here,
If
what's up? What's
anybody-
up? What's up?
If you are in the chat right now and you have a squirrel problem, let us know about it. We will send Dolio.
After he's done with this squirrel problem,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
King of the squirrel problem.
Yeah,
Be like, yo,
After he's done with this
what's your
squirrel
squirrel, dog?
Yo, Danjo, what's a squirrel sound like on the banjo? You know what? I should know the tune. I should know the tune too because I've played it in a group jam a couple of times. It kind of sounds close.
You know any songs about eating groundhogs?
A couple of times. It kind of sounds close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I didn't say that.
Nah, that was things.
Yeah.
Computer was just like, nah, bro, we're gonna do all that.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping it wasn't gonna do that, but it decided it was.
All right, we got Suze on the Twitch stream. Suze is
Hey, Sue.
What's up? Suze reviews the blues.
Here.
And
Good to see you here, Sue. Good to see you here with your blues.
Let's see what's going on. All right. So I got the Facebook up. I really want to. My new thing is just keeping my eye on YouTube because YouTube is officially my favorite place in the world now.
Hey, Sue.
Yo, these what's going on?
at least during the chats, even on YouTube, have been pretty good.
Which makes me sad. I like trolls. I enjoy the shit out of trolls. Right? They always say don't read the comments, and yet, yeah, I'm a fan. They make me happy.
Does anybody say anything bad on our comments recently?
And then the one negative, like, people are like, what's wrong with you? Why are you even here? Shut your hole.
Michelle is on Twitch and says she can't hear Dan. So we're gonna into that.
This again. So now it should be right. Man, see, the last time I muted everybody except for me.
Oh God!
So this is an improvement.
And
He's going.
You definitely just dropped this off of Facebook.
We're all alone now in our time of need.
I dropped you off of Facebook?
Yeah, I was watching the Facebook stream. Oh wait, did I do that? Hold on.
Did I?
Yeah, I did that on no.
I closed my eyes and the world went away. Wait. Nope, I opened them again. It's good.
Hold on.
Yes, hang with us, people. This is the start of a wonderful Gangstagrass hangout, and we are working out the kinks. But we hope everybody out there is hanging in there and doing all right, and taking care of each other, and checking in with your neighbors, and reaching out if you need to reach out. We know it's pretty stressful times out there, and we want to say what's up to all of you, and hope you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Reach
Yeah.
out in the chat and tell us what's
Make
on.
sure. I hope everybody out there, there's a lot of news swirling around. I hope you don't let the news get you down and stay optimistic and stay stay easy on things. Make sure you're shedding the light that you have throughout the world to make it a better place. I know there's a lot of darkness, but you hold on to the light, that little light of yours, then I think we're going to make it out all this all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was sweet, Brian.
And this is our first live streaming hangout since the Billboard charts came out this week, with us coming in debuting at number 3 on the bluegrass charts.
That's right.
Thank you to everybody out there in throughout the land who has helped put us on the charts for our first week with this new album.
That's right.
And it's a particularly amazing accomplishment to, to first of all have released an album during a pandemic where you couldn't get into the studio and had to do almost all of it remotely. And then for the physical copies to be delayed because of the pandemic, meaning that, for people who don't know much about charting, it's actually super interesting. And physical copies, like if you buy a copy of the CD, it counts for somewhere between, depending on the kind of stream we're talking about, somewhere between 1,200 and more than 3,000, almost 4,000 streams just from buying that one CD. So we didn't sell any CDs because we don't have them yet, and still made that chart at number 3. It's incredible, and we're so excited. Thank you so much.
For everybody out there that has pre-ordered the CD and the vinyl, the shipments are actually coming in very soon, and we'll be shipping out to everybody that ordered it right away.
Yeah, my mom ordered a copy, and she's pretty proud of the fact that we're number 3 on the bluegrass chart. So everybody who's on the stream that's out of Omaha, love you much.
Yeah, Omaha.
And if you have any friends that are from Omaha, tell them to get on this stream.
Like all of them?
Everyone from Omaha.
Yeah.
A shout out to Mark Mordew, who is on the Twitch stream for the first time, chatting it up with us.
Mark, what's up, dude?
We're glad you're doing okay and recuperated and out of the hospital, so we can come and visit you again sometime.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that he was in the hospital.
Big ups to our homies down in Nashville too. We did the show the other morning for was that morning match? What's going on in Nashville? What's the name of that show?
Yeah.
Spotlight Nashville?
Good Day Nashville.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nashville, how y'all doing, or whatever it's called.
It was yeah, so we went on.
If we started a show in Nashville, it would be called Nashville, how y'all doing?
I'm down for that. I'm totally down for a Nashville, how y'all doing? The show.
Called Nashville. What's spicy? What's spicy today?
Nashville, what the fuck is? No. I don't think they would let us do that show. It would definitely be more fun, but.
Well, actually, can I ask, because I'm curious, when we're in Nashville, we hit up WSMV and we've done that a bunch of times, and we're in the studio and they're like making steaks and cocktails, and there's always like some interesting food thing going on there, and we're hanging out for hours and enjoying the hospitality and checking out the broadcast. And, and this time, basically the same slot that we would typically be in, but instead everybody's at home in your various cities, and something was sent to WSMV to play as a video. So would you guys talk a little bit about like how different that is to be doing this kind of interview that we're doing now during the pandemic versus what we would have been doing if we were in Nashville on the road.
The last time we were in
didn't eat any
Nashville,
steak.
Sinbad was there. Sinbad's not in my house,
He's not hanging with us this time.
which upsets me.
Yo, he's in the list with me right now.
He's in the band. So that's what matters.
Yeah, I mean, and that, oh my God, that steak from the last time. Holy Jesus.
It
My God.
is so different. The virtual steak was not the same. And it's just,
No.
Streaming from your house is streaming from your house. There is just something very cool about going to a television, like just like driving up to these big, huge antennas and parking and going in, and you got the big cameras rolling around the floor with the red lights on top and people coming over and being like, okay, shh, we're on the air and then you're going to go on in 5 minutes. And just the whole production thing of that is just very cool.
Yeah, dude. That,
Yeah, what? Damn, what was that cocktail? It was like a chocolate vodka cocktail or something?
What the heck was that? It wasn't
Right?
It was, you know what it was? Okay, so I hate that I remember this and that I have to say this on air. But
I think that's beautiful.
they were making themed cocktails that day. Anybody remember the theme?
It must have been Mardi Gras, right?
No.
Because we were.
The
Yeah, it was
theme
Mardi
was,
Gras.
I remember
No.
that they were on a big wood board.
I mean, there was that
Like,
too.
it was like-
I
it
might
was
be
like
remembering a
themed
different
shots,
day,
wasn't
but
it?
the one you're talking about, Pharaoh, they were doing Friends themed cocktails, like from the show Friends.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I forget, it was either like a Phoebe or a Monica. I think it was a Monica. It was very good.
Which one's Jennifer Aniston?
Rachel. Come on, Pharaoh.
Oh,
You got to know that, Pharaoh.
Oh, your friends.
I don't know any other names. I just know Jennifer Aniston because that's the only person I was interested in. Sorry, y'all.
Dramatically.
I didn't watch Friends like a true fan.
That's how it goes.
Me neither, dude. I think I've seen one full episode of Friends.
But yeah, that was another big part of actually going on TV shows is right before us, when we're lucky, it's like a food segment with a local chef that's showing how to prepare something really tasty. And then it's just sitting there on the thing.
Yeah, they make it and just leave it there. It's like, well,
Where was it that we went on and the folks had all the gourmet popcorn that they were pitching
Oh,
And they-
Texas.
yeah.
Texas it was. It was Houston.
in
Because
Houston?
they came to the
I still
show.
got
yeah, you
pictures
guys
from
told me
that.
about that. You told me about that.
Yeah,
That's
that
great, that
popcorn-
Was it Miss
so
Poppin?
good.
Was that the
So
popcorn
delicious.
brand? Was Miss Poppin?
No, they was like popping
Miss
off.
Poppin popcorn? Popping off, yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah,
that was good popcorn.
it was.
So everybody tuning in, make sure to stick around. We have special guests tonight.
Yeah, we do.
Wyatt, who you may be familiar with on a new CD, guest MC on the song "Do Better,"
Yep.
and he's going to be
Mm-hmm.
in a few minutes. So everybody get ready for that to go down. In the meantime, how's everybody hanging in there?
All right.
Oh,
Proud of the fact that there's no basketball on right now.
Yeah.
As much as I would like to be watching basketball. I'm proud of it. They were like, you know what? Nah, I can't. I can't today. Nope, not doing it. I'm mad that the Bucks and the New York Mets and the Florida Marlins all did this amazing stuff, and I hate all three of those teams. And they were like, no, we're actually going to be decent human beings. And I was like, all right, well, now I don't completely hate you anymore. Now I don't want to see you on the court or on the field, but all right, nicely done, gentlemen.
Are you
That
are you saying it's no time for enemies?
that's exactly what I'm saying.
hmm
No, the thing that the Marlins and the Mets did was dope because they came out on the field, lined up, like everybody came out, and I think they may have played the national anthem, like everybody was in their positions and stuff. The first batter stepped into the bat, and they stepped into the batter's box, and then they all walked off the field.
He stepped all the way into the box. That's
Yeah,
that's
they stepped into the
commitment.
box.
That's
and then
amazing.
they left the shirt on the field that said Black Lives Matter, and they bounced.
It was
I
like
was like,
it was like the baseball version of John Cage's 4 minutes and 33 seconds or
I
whatever.
guess.
yeah, it was really wild, man.
yeah.
You go into the actual going through the motions of everything up to the point of actually playing.
Well, that would be like, what if they just instead, sorry, this is not relevant to anything. That was very meaningful. It's an important thing. But now I'm just imagining what if instead the batter stays in the box and the pitcher stays on the mound, and then just nobody moves.
That would be a trip.
That would be a trip too. But hell yeah.
Speaking of baseball, happy Jackie Robinson Day.
Oh,
If
Oh
you-
yeah,
if
it
you-
is Jackie Robinson Day.
Yeah, if anybody is watching is looking at any baseball anywhere, everybody's wearing number 42. Like
Right.
every player on every team right now is wearing number 42.
Yeah.
They do it every year for Jackie. The number 42 has actually been retired from professional baseball.
Who was the
Like, from
team
the
that?
s-
And a lot of
team
people
that stood
don't
out
know
there?
that Jackie Robinson was actually he didn't just wear that number for no reason. Jackie Robinson is the meaning of life. People
he
say
is
it's
the
42,
answer to
but
life,
no.
the universe, and everything.
Nice.
Yep.
He's also
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
and he is also the reason why my son's middle name is Robinson.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
cool.
But so wasn't there at least one team I was hearing that went out on the field and stood in silence for 42 seconds before walking off?
Yeah, that was the one. That was the Mets
Yeah.
Mets Marlins game. Yeah, they went out, stood
Mhm.
for 42 seconds, and then they just dipped. I was like, all right, fine. I don't hate the Mets and the Marlins today. Well done, gentlemen, and everyone involved in this whole thing. Nicely done.
Yeah, that
Of
was a
course.
beautiful moment.
Of course, the WNBA kept going harder. Like every time the NBA did something, the WNBA was like, all right, look, the one night they came out, one of the teams came out, and the whole like staff had on shirts that spelled out Jacob Blake
Yeah.
with 7 holes in the back. I was like,
Holy
what?
shit.
Yo, the WNBA be going hard, man. They go extra hard. They're like, look, whatever. It's ridiculous, dude. But you know what I mean? Big ups to all of it, man. Like hockey didn't happen yesterday. Like when the
Hockey
NHL,
didn't happen.
they're in Toronto, dude. There's maybe 9 white guys in professional hockey in the sport, 9 black guys. And they were like, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe we're just not gonna do this. That's an important thing, man. It's
Yeah, that is.
you get a lot of people out here talking about how, athletes need to, shut up and dribble or whatever. And it's like, no, man, they're definitely athletes, but they're human beings with and citizens with opinions, and their opinions matter. And so, say what you want, take the actions that you want, do your thing, man. I'm very proud to be a sports fan.
And part of the power of
I'm just glad they're.
sorry, go ahead, Pharaoh.
I'm glad they're starting to use the platform. I'm glad they're starting to use the platform for something righteous.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That's
one of the
something
reasons
good to see.
why the NBA didn't cancel the season, because they were ready to be done. But they talked it through, and randomly Jordan got involved. And Jordan was like, nah. Like, he was one of the people talking between the owners and the players, because Jordan is the only black owner. I think he's the only black NBA owner. And he was like one of the go-betweens between the players and the owners. Like, look, you guys have a platform, use it. Like, because after every
Yeah.
game, the press is gonna be there with you after every game, talking to you guys. And that was one of the main reasons why they decided not to cancel the season. Like, all right, we do have this platform. Let's get it popping. I'm very proud of American professionals.
A lot of little reasons to be in some ways optimistic, or to feel like there's a lot of good signs going on of, a sea change in just like the general consensus in a lot of corners around
Thank you
where
again, man.
it needs to go.
Hey, have a good evening.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Hey, the band says thank you too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pharaoh's on
Mars.
a lift, so we have heard, and we found out that apparently there is a rule that has been instituted in the lifts about you can't talk for more than 15 minutes on a phone because of the exhalations. So that's nice that they're thinking about that stuff.
Interesting.
That's good. Speaking of which, so we did a thing in Philly earlier this week, and those of you who follow the Instagram saw me not entirely understanding how to use Instagram. But it was really
Do that again?
cool.
One more time.
It was
How'd you do
that's
it?
pretty much what was happening.
Uh-huh.
But it was really great. We managed to get everybody in the same place, and masks. It's really exciting to me to see these videos of songs. First of all, because it was the first time that we were all able to be in the same place since February, and to then record songs with masks on, and the audio is good. You can hear everybody clearly, and it just goes to show you can absolutely create what you want to create and be the person you want to be while also keeping everybody else's safety in mind by covering up your face.
Absolutely. And we
This is
did
really
it all
great.
on one microphone too. Shout out to Ear Trumpet Mics out of
Yeah, man.
Portland, Oregon. Good folks there, friends of ours. I'm always excited to get a chance to do the one mic setup. Partially because it's sort of a little throwback shout out to like the early days of bluegrass, because that's how it was done. Everybody was around one microphone back then, and partially because it's not just like traditional cred. Like I feel like, we had to move around a little bit more. Like we did a couple of takes and we were like, no, okay, but when you do the lead, you got to really get in there. And then when you're not taking the lead, you got to really duck out of the way and let the next person take the lead. And I just always think that's a lot of fun. Like it's fun to do, it's fun to watch and listen to, and it just is a little bit, it's way more complicated than you would think. Like you think like one microphone, that makes it easy, but actually you got to like do all this choreography stuff. That was fun.
We're looking forward to putting some of those recordings out soon.
Yup. Keep your eyes and ears open for that.
Some of them are going out to the Brooklyn Americana Music Festival that's going to be streaming a bunch of music from Brooklyn Americana artists, and that'll be cool.
Do we know when that is?
Yeah, let me just take a look right now. Shout out to Jan Bell here in Brooklyn organizing.
Hey, what's up, Jan?
So we're going to be on September 10th is the opening night, Brooklyn Americana Long Distance Music Festival. And they're streaming our stuff at 10 p.m.
Nice.
So
Oh, September 10th at 10. That's easy.
Yeah, we'll be
Hey,
posting
Suze.
a flyer and a link for all that.
Suze, since she loves to see an ear trumpet mic, this is my ear trumpet mic. Shout out to those guys. This is
Yeah.
the Chantel style. I have renamed mine Claudia after my mother, and I love this thing. I want to get it personalized somehow. So if anybody that knows that has a laser that can etch in copper, let me know. I want to see if I can get something done on this.
Will you hold that up a little closer to the camera so we can all admire its beauty? Look at that. Look at that. And look at how the head tilts, which is perfect for our son's grip.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how do you
this
hold
thing is
that?
fantastic.
Hold that the way that you hold it.
That's how it gets held.
Yeah.
Which is because I'm not holding, like, cupping the actual head of it a lot, but it's when as soon as it was funny when we went to their the factory there where they were making these. I was just checking the mics out and not knowing how anything works, just kind of digging them. And then I picked this one up. I was like, wait, what's this? Oh Lord, oh my goodness! And I just and I was just ready to sort of leave it. Dan was like, hey, you should see if they'll let you use it. I'm like, don't do that. And then I was like, hey, we're gonna be in this area for a few days. Can I hold on to this for a few shows? And like 2 shows in, I was like, oh Christ.
I had a
I'm gonna
feeling that
buy
might
this
happen.
thing. Yeah. I love this thing. I love it.
Yep.
Yep. I just want to give a heads up right now for everybody tuning in that we are doing these Friday night hangouts for every Friday coming up for the next month or two with a bunch of special guests. Tonight we've got Randall Wyatt coming on soon. September 11th, we have a political director for the Communication Workers Union. September 18th, we've got Brand J coming on. Special from our new album that rocked our new version of This Land Is Your Land with us. And October 2nd, we got investigative journalist Tracy McMillan coming on. And there will be more guests announced coming up soon. But Friday nights are Hangout with Gangstagrass nights with some very cool special guests coming up.
Yeah, and just to look ahead, we are going to do a live stream on election night. So if you can't handle the prospect of watching the talking heads on the news, talking endlessly in circles, you can watch it with us and we will make it fun. And it looks like Randall Wyatt is just joining us. We'll give him a moment to get all connected.
Here we go.
Hey!
What's up, Randall?
What's up?
Randall Wyatt's in the house.
Yes.
Oh, I'm early.
Yeah.
That's rare. I'm never early for anything.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, you're welcome. There he is.
So good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Randall Wyatt is joining us to talk about some awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second. It's really loud around my place. I'm gonna shut some windows and stuff. I'll be right back.
All right.
Go for it.
Sounds good. So for people who want to do some homework ahead of time, if you look up Taking Ownership PDX, you'll be able to see what our guest has been up to outside of his great musical endeavors. So if you have any questions about that, if you want to check it out and get familiar with it, we'll definitely be talking with him about that as well.
Yes, and we were just talking about the fact that we're gonna hang out live streaming on election day, just because like I don't know what else I'm gonna do that day. It's gonna be crazy, and if there's one thing I know that I could at least chill out a little bit and do that day, it's hang out with these wonderful freaks, and get some perspective that way. So come spend it with us.
Yeah, and we'll have some great special guests for that as well. Some political reporters, maybe some speech writers. We might see if we can persuade a Mars rover driver to jump on, just because you got to have some good news.
Yeah, that's the talk about perspective.
Yeah.
Mars.
All right, how's it looking for you, Randall? You got a better situation happening now?
Yeah. There's a lot of kids around where I live. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I like the sound of, things going on. I'm not like a rural type of person. I like the city.
You don't go out and shout, "Get off my lawn."
No. Sometimes actually. Sometimes you got to.
Yeah, sometimes.
There's a time and place for everything.
When you're in the mood.
Our Randall, our son, has a mini podcast of sorts that is called "Get Off My Lawn."
Oh, for real?
So,
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's
Where's
all
our
I know.
son?
His screen is there, but he had to step away from his camera, so we're watching his figurine collection.
I think
really?
he might be helping someone with some math homework.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Indeed.
That's right. So do better. That's a pretty dope song, huh?
It's my favorite track on the entire album. Just putting it out there. It is currently my favorite.
Yeah.
Really? You're just saying that, Danjo.
I'm not. I've been saying it. I'll say it when you get off.
Ray! Hey, my man, what's up?
What's
Man,
going on, guys?
That's an impressive figurine collection, man. For real. I actually, growing up, that's all I used to get is X-Men action figures, but I'd fight them. I'd always fight them, so they're all messed up, and they lose their limbs, and they'd be lost in my mom's garden and stuff. So
I
I'm
just
really
got
mad.
my son just got me an X-Men figure for my birthday. Got me a Wolverine figure for my birthday.
Oh man, he's thoughtful.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
he's the best.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
What's up, guys?
We were just starting to talk about "Do Better," which is a song on our new album that we love. That actually came about even after the other songs on the album were written, because we were doing something early on in our Twitch stream that some of you are watching on this on right now. We were doing something called "Kick the Can," in which we would have different members of the band each night on our Twitch stream, and so one person would lay down part of a track, and then the next person doing the Twitch stream would take that and add another layer on that, and then the next person the next night would add a layer on. And this started that way with Brian Farrow laying down a groove on the bass with some rhythms to it. And can we get Brian Farrow back to talk about that? Hopefully soon. But he was getting out of a lift and going up to.
Yeah, he's connecting to audio. It says. So I don't know what that's
He's been
about.
connecting to audio for quite a while now.
Right.
I think.
And he set that up and kicked that off as the first layer of a Kick the Can, and then I think it went to Danjo, who put some banjo stuff on it, and then to me to add more on the beat and some guitar and coming up with the hook. But about that time, I think Brian Farrow was in Portland, so he connected with you, Randall, and brought you on. And so tell us what that was on your end of going to hang out with Brian Farrow.
Yes. So I had wrote this like 24 bar verse about being quarantined and just like the whole, it was fairly new. It was probably around late March or early April when it all started happening. And I had that to a whole different beat, but Brian hit me up and wanted to hang out, and I wasn't even thinking about us getting together, really making music like that. And so when I got there, though, he had everything set up and ready to go, and
Surprise!
I wasn't right.
Well, since you're here,
Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I got this verse, and all he had at that time was like some drums, really. I think, or he might have been something he played on the bass or something.
Yeah, it was a bass guitar loop. It was very percussive though. A lot of
Right.
sort of slapping and stuff. But I think all the percussion at that point was coming from his bass.
Right. And so yeah, then I laid down that verse, that long verse, and one thing led to another. Got to you. I think Wrench, you do the engineering, right?
Yeah.
You cut it up and took all the good parts out and made a 16 bar verse out of it. But yeah, it was great. I didn't really have the capacity to write a new verse at that moment. So I was like, I just wrote this one. Let's try this out.
Mm-hmm.
That worked out.
I love that, man. And I love that it's just so timely. Like people ask, oh, when did you make this? Did you write all this stuff, in the past, and then you've had it in the hopper for like 2 years, and like, no, see, here's this song with this verse. This talks about like quarantining and like 2020, and like, no, this was just very fresh. It was just very fresh, or very prescient, but no, it was fresh.
It was almost too fresh because I didn't get enough time with that verse to like really, really polish it. Obviously, I think it sounds good, and I'm glad y'all do too. But I could, as an MC and as any musician, any artist, and then you get a chance to perform it for a few years, and then you're like, damn, I wish I could go back and do that. So it was just so new. I had wrote it maybe a week prior to meeting up with Brian. It would have been, I didn't get to polish it quite where I wanted to, but.
See, I got lucky when that happened because the other Kick the Can joint that we did, I think I may have done the first verse, and it was a good 16, and then we kicked it over to Dolio, and I heard Dolio's verse, and I was like, "What are you doing? You murdered this thing!" I was like, "Oh no. No. I didn't know we was going 24. I didn't know, and he shredded this thing to pieces. like, all right, let me put these last 8 bars on here, see if I can play catch up on that one. Because he murked that thing. I was not happy about that.
So you got the pleasure of hearing a verse before. See, if I could have heard y'all verses first and then went back, I would have had the hottest verse. I would have went back to the drawing board after y'all.
It's kind of an amazing thing that because I 3 nights after Brian had done that bass rhythm, I was coming up with a hook, and you were doing that verse when it was just the bass rhythm. So we didn't hear what each other were doing on it, but it totally works together.
Oh yeah,
it really does.
So we were on mission, and it dovetailed so perfectly.
I'm gonna see
Yeah,
if
I
I
love
can't
it.
like play a little bit underneath while we're talking. I don't want to get in the way, but
No, we could listen to
Yeah,
it.
let's actually listen to it.
yeah. I love that chorus too, Rich.
Yeah, and that, just to remind everybody, that chorus is from Paul Wellstone, from the late Senator Paul Wellstone. We all do better when we all do better. And that was what popped into Wrench's mind when he was coming up with words for the song, and
I didn't know
it was in
that.
the air.
alright, so I'm running a little bit now.
Get over on the next man. I'm here to elevate and navigate like a sextant. So we're cruising through the weather. Anything you can do, my crew can do it better. Make songs for you to groove to forever, whatever. Units you choose to measure, night after night, day after day. We bet we get you lifted in the Gangstagrass way. Aloha, ashe, namaste, peace. We're giving y'all that whatever way that we greet. We stay on our feet in the face of defeat, no retreat. The only thing that breaks is the beat, cause we all do better when we all do better.
It's still a great verse, man. It's still a great verse. Alright, here goes that Randall Wyatt.
Yeah, being quarantined, such a foreign thing. Got me home instead of going out, what I'm usually torn between. Normally I go places I can't afford to be. A father with my income, I gotta be sorta cheap. I know this shit ain't a joke, so please hold your laughter unless you have a really funny meme about this whole disaster. That's how I raise my spirits while I'm staying isolated. I love this time with my kids cause they don't try my patience. And now I get a chance to modify their education, teach them skills so they can navigate a life situation. I'm one of the blessed ones who still works remotely. We gotta show support to all the folks who's getting no pay, cause America still wants your rent and your mortgage. Seems there's no money shortage, so let's hope they stay supportive. But you never know because they profit off the poorest, so don't hoard the resources if you're one of the fortunate.
I love that line.
I said don't hoard the resources if you're one of the fortunate.
That's so great. Alright, let's hear Dolio's verse. Wait, no. One of my favorite things about this track is there's like just an inch of solo, but like not really a lot. This feels like that Mental Advisory. This is just like 3 MCs stick to a very simple beat. Just let's get some of the best verses on the whole album. The whole album. All right, here goes.
The elders used to say that if you knew
Hey,
better,
sorry.
you do better, and that's why we do it together. The powers that be wish that me and you sever. Any ties to keep us join to help us make it through weather. Or not, we got a paper stack of really huge cheddar over a bunch of certified alphabet soup letters. We can't cooperate, collaborate, and getting by or build something substantial enough to lift us up high as one. The virtue of a nation is increased by example of the treatment and extends to the least of us. Here's the value of a life governed by the greedy, or determined to heal the sick and feed the needy. If we reach to our neighbor when the storm is wreaking havoc, then we each have a better chance of fending off the damage. That's a demonstrated fact. Come together as a pack, and it ain't nothing wrong with that, and that's that. Cause we all do better when we all do better. Can't get better than that. We all do better when we all do better.
What a great track. What a great track.
Yeah, I didn't even know you had a verse on this until it was done. I was like, oh wait, huh? Oh, all right, cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And the verses and the chorus ended up dovetailing on mission so nicely and going with the whole theme of the album. And that's when we kind of thought, this goes so well with the new album, we should put it on there instead of waiting to put it on something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really, really did work.
Yeah.
On a lot of levels. Rand, I'll ask you this. One of the things I haven't done is I purposely haven't is written a verse with the words quarantine, corona, or COVID in it. because I didn't want it to ever feel dated. But I like the way yours does it. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very, it's timely. But if you go back and listen to it in 10 years, knowing anything about what 2020 was, it still works. Was that anything that ever popped in your head, or you were just writing it was just something that was in your head?
Well, I'm expecting another pandemic. 10 years from now. Nah.
Nice, all right.
My bad. No, man. Honestly, I don't. Yeah, I think that like when I write, I like to write on topics, like stay on topics, and I like to write about what I'm going through and when that time is, and I don't really mind if it gets dated per se, because I'm gonna keep making more art, and you know what I mean. So like, I don't mind. It's like a picture, you know what I'm saying? Like my music can be kind of like a picture. It just like snaps that period of time, and you can go back to it if you want to, and to kind of just get a feel of what was going on during that time. And I even think when you talk about particular situations, it could still be timeless. I like to go back. I like to reminisce, and so I guess that's kind of where I went
Well,
with that
it
verse.
is, man. It is timeless. I feel like the
Right.
way that the way that you're thinking about it is big picture. It's not just like you're not just thinking about it now. So much of what you're saying applies to any situation. Like, don't hoard the resources if you're one of the fortunate. Yeah, that's not a 2020 thing. That's always like show supports people aren't getting like it's just a lot of big picture take on what is sort of a small situation. But
Yeah,
it's
and I
terrific.
think and I think times are changing. I think the social climate is going to change. I think we're going to come out of this a different society, and I'm just kind of like trying to tell my story of like what's changed for me and in my life and what I hope people come out of this a little more community oriented mentally and just want to share resources. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only way we're going to survive as humans, man. Like
Yeah.
this individualistic mentality that capitalism breeds is not going to create longevity for us as a species, man. Yeah, and it's showing, So
That's a great
I mean,
segue too, by the way.
Even with that, it's like the current situation really just puts a magnifying glass on everything. It just kind of says, okay, this is what's been going on this whole time. Now that everyone's in isolation, we can focus on this.
exactly, perfect storm, man. Like, yeah, it's just people have time to now focus and actually listen instead of getting distracted by the 9 to 5s and the daily grind. Nice shirt, by the way, Delio.
Thank you. I got it from a homie.
Let's talk about how we met.
Finally.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah, Brian Farrow in the house.
Yo, Graham, good to see you, man.
What's going on, man? Good to see you too.
Sorry it took me a minute to get back in here.
No worries.
You're making out with the Lyft driver.
Just for a second.
Yeah. So our son, you tell us about when we were on a West Coast tour, and we played with Speakerphone, right?
Now, was that the whole band?
So,
All right, so we go out to the what's the name of that place in Portland? That wasn't Portland. That was Seattle.
no, yeah. So it started in Seattle. So what happened
Seattle was
was
the first joint.
yeah. What happened was I can't think of his name. He was a promoter out here, and I'm like blanking on his name. Diami.
Yeah.
It was like we played a show for him somewhere, and I was with this dude, Landon Wordswell, and a couple other people from around the way that I've been rapping with for a while, or I used to rap with for a while, and he was just like, "Yo, this is this band Gangstagrass. They're playing up in Seattle. They need somebody to open up." And he's like, "Just if y'all want to go up there and rap some songs, go up there." And I think what was it, the Tractor something?
Tractor Tavern. Yeah, that's
Tractor
the
Tavern. Yeah, and then we went up there, and that's where it began. And me and Arson ran into each other, and we're like, "What's your name?" Randall. What's your name? Randall. And we both spelled one with one L. And we freaked
That
out.
was the thing that got me, dude. It really was the thing that got me. Like, there's I've encountered a couple of other Randalls in my life, but you're the only other one L Randall I've ever met.
Me too, man.
And you were like, "Are you tall? Yeah. Are you tall? Yeah."
Right.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. And then we kept talking about doing a song called Doppelganger for a long
which
time.
we're still doing, by the way. We are still doing that. I'm not letting you off the hook on that.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm gonna get back to writing rhymes soon here, so let's make that happen.
And
I'm happy that we
had
did get together a track though.
we had a really good time at that show, and then stayed in touch. And then last year, Dolio was out rescuing old lady from a pack of panthers, like this real random pack of they were hyenas. This random pack of hyenas was attacking this old lady, and Dolio kicked one of them in the face and tore his Achilles, right? And so after he rescued the old lady and dragged her back into the house and fought off the hyenas, then he realized he was hurt and had to have surgery and was laid up, couldn't go on tour with us. So we were going out west anyway, and we were like, you know what we should do? Call up Rand and see if he wants to do a couple shows with us. And now, mind you, we did another show. We did a show in
Portland.
After
the Seattle show.
After the Seattle show, we did.
And that show was with my full band.
That was with the full band, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was Dante's, I think.
Yeah, that was at Dante's, and that was and I was a fan after the first show, but seeing you rock out with the band like that, I was like, yo, this is nice. This is dope. Because it's not the same thing. It's not always the same thing. If you're just rocking out or over your instrumentals with your DJ and rocking out with a band, it's not always the same thing.
Right.
Because your DJ is not as able to go on the fly with you unless you guys really, really practice that. He's not as able to go on the fly with you. And Rand was really able to bounce with his band in a way that a lot of cats aren't able to do. Hello.
And yeah, I mean, you're right, man. Like, I love rocking with a DJ. I love rocking my solo stuff because it's just a different sound. It's kind of my more boom bap side. But there's nothing like having. It's like I grew up playing sports, so I really like that team camaraderie, that energy you get when everybody's on the same page and vibing. And I get that with my DJ sometimes, but it's just such a controlled sound when you're rapping over digital beats. But with the band, it's limitless for the most part, and go off, really vibe. You can stretch the song out. So it's nothing like rocking with live instruments with musicians.
The coolest thing about having you join us for those couple of shows is you were talking all nervous beforehand, like you're not.
I was hella nervous.
Like you haven't done it before. Get up there and kill it.
Well, I didn't know if my verses were gonna resonate or fit that well over the beats, and then also I wasn't super confident in my freestyle ability, because Arson was challenging me, man. That dude was challenging me, like to be like, yo, you got to freestyle over this beat about running from the police in Tennessee during 1932. I was like, damn, that's specific to freestyle about. But it challenged me, and it made me really. After that tour with y'all, man, I was really confident in my rap abilities, and I just was tearing up every show I was on after that. But I was super nervous that first show. That was a big crowd, man. That was a big crowd, and y'all, I wanted to impress y'all. I wanted to do justice.
I was not even worried about it because, like I said, at that first show at the Tractor Tavern, I know you was doing you were going off the head a lot with the other boy that was there. I forget his name. But I was like, yeah, this dude, he's killing it. He's killing this. I want to see if we can have a lot of fun with this. And yo, bro, you shine. You was shining, man. We were really, really impressed to have you. And
that mentality tracks all the way to when we did Do Better. Like, you came in and you're like, I don't know, man. I gotta write something. And then you had a verse, and it was the first verse you did, and that was it. That was it.
I know, man, and there's so many whack rappers out there that have so much confidence. Like, why can't I have that confidence? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. You
Like
know.
it's I think it's its own variation of like the Dunning-Kruger effect, where if you don't
Mhm.
know like how good rapping can be, then you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm a great rapper. But if you actually like study the craft, even if you're really good, you'll be like, oh man, am I as good because you study good MCs, and you'll be like, oh well, I'm probably not that great, but like, so but that's just one
Yeah,
of those catch 22s of like the more you know, the less confident you are.
that's true. Very
That
true.
might also apply to banjo. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think that definitely
I'm
applies to
certain it
banjo.
does. I'm certain.
Yeah, I'm
it does.
pretty sure I'm the worst fiddle player around.
Yeah, the thing is, Randy and I have the pressure of living in the same city as Black Thought.
Yeah,
So
right.
And each other.
It keeps our pens sharp.
Yo, dude. There's some for as much as they don't get credit. This town is full of some monsters, and it's like
Yeah.
you gotta, you know what I mean. You're one of our dear friends, the cat named Reef, the Lost Cause, and anybody that's
He's
ever heard Reef knows that dude is
Godzilla.
disgusting with a pen.
He is
Like,
Godzilla.
and it's just to be able to sort of exist in that realm, you gotta stay sharp.
Mhm.
And we have been able to really keep our cipher very, very sharp. Like, if you did a Gangstagrass MCs album, that shit would be bonkers.
I believe it, man.
Like, I'm down to do a posse cut. I'm saying we do for the next mixtape. I'm putting it out there right now for the next mixtape, Symphony 2021. Me, Sleuth, Brand, Demeanor.
Uh-huh.
Boom.
Do it.
That'll be hot.
Boom.
Yeah.
And
I'm with it.
I just wanna put out there, when I was younger, some of my favorite bass players came out of Philly. Christian McBride, of course, who tears up the scene all the time. Then Derek Hodges, who's been playing with Robert Glasper a bunch and all over the place. So just want to shout outs to them.
Yeah, and Christian was
Yeah.
the one recently. He was touring his Next John project, and I remember he was talking about like just how much raw talent just overall. It's just such a prolific city that produces so many people, and then he was talking about how like people will come from there and then go somewhere else and like can have kind of a complicated relationship with claiming Philly, I guess, or something. But that there's just so many people, just so many talented people across all pursuits come from Philly, and maybe it just doesn't get its due, but I feel like it's starting to come up, and Portland too, maybe in a different way, but
Yeah, Portland, we got some heavy hitters out here. We got a lot of talent out here. We don't really get much shine, but that might change after all these protests and all the national news we're getting right now.
yeah.
We're
But
getting that- but-
I was worried about you getting scooped into a van, right?
Mm.
oh
I was
yeah,
like, oh man,
I'm a big
man,
dude, Arson. Don't worry, man. I'm a big guy. They're gonna need a lot of them to get me in there.
Yeah.
I was like,
But
I hope they
honestly,
don't
that
get ran.
tour was a highlight of my music career. Like I had so much fun with y'all.
There's a lot
That
of
was just great. It was challenging, but it was just like it was just so much fun. Crowds were great.
We had fun afterwards too, man. It was great hanging with you.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That was.
I'm just mad I didn't bring my merch to that Portland show. Should have brought my merch, man.
Yeah.
Yo, that's the worst thing in the world, dude. When you ain't got merch and merch is slanging, dude. When we went to Germany, this is before I even had any merch. People were just running up. There was like no merch tent. Did we have anything? No, the merch.
No,
was
we
way
had
back
we
somewhere.
ran out of merch.
We
and,
ran
ran out of merch.
CDs.
and they just started throwing money at us.
Throw money over the joint.
fence,
I was
yeah.
like,
Strippers or something.
I had nothing. I was like, oh dang. I was like, maybe here's some draws. Can I get some pranks? Nothing, man. It was fantastic, dude. It was really, really dope. And ever since then, I'm like, look, I'll go to the store with merch and with I'm not playing. Not
Man.
playing.
You know, I've gone on tour with some people before in the past, and a long time ago, and I would sell merch, and they would get a little like I was like undercutting them or something. So I was like, oh, I don't want to do that to the Gangstagrass, so I left my merch at home. But then
Well,
y'all
better
were
when
like,
we all do better.
As a
No,
matter of
yeah,
fact,
man.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
A
matter of
rising,
fact,
a
your-
rising
We all do
tide,
better.
you know, it
That's
lifts
right.
all the ships. And
your
Right,
I
merch
mean,
is so dope that somebody must have stolen my shirt. I never got it.
are you
I think
serious?
I think it arrived here, and somebody was like, "Ooh, look, a package." Yoink.
I love the thought of people taking an album home that they bought from somebody that we played with and being like, "Oh, I love this album, I love this band," and I found out about them through going to a Gangstagrass show. Like I love that kind of spreading of the networks.
Right, right. No, I appreciate it. I was really happy that y'all were like, no, well, bring your merch, sell that,
yeah.
come up. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
And
That
you
shows
did
the
well,
confidence
didn't
y'all
you?
have in each other. I mean, in your band. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna steal your fans away. I don't even understand that mentality, to be honest. But
Yeah.
it's happened.
No, and I think part of that too is that like Sleeves runs a really, you know, a tight and a good merch ship when we're out there doing it. It's not about it's not about competition. And I know what you mean. Like I know about like feeling that way and having that worry about like I don't know, like you know, nobody's selling merch anyway, so like we don't want you stealing our merch sales. But like that's the wrong way to look at it anyway, first of all.
I mean,
Yeah.
plus typically if somebody's coming out to a Gangstagrass show, they like variety,
Yeah.
so they're gonna want to sample of a menu.
And something
Right.
I've noticed about our shows is just there's something about the music that inspires people to buy a lot of merch. So
Yeah. And I
Well,
don't
it
think
keeps,
they.
it keeps the
And I
party
think,
going when they get home.
and I think I'm pretty sure your fan base isn't broke.
We got broke fans. Shout out to the broke fans. Hey, broke fans
Not
in
when
the
they're
comments.
we play in West
Not when they're
Virginia.
at the show. They're not.
Yeah.
They save up for a Gangstagrass show.
Yeah,
They do
we have
that.
fans that are on
They
the
do
broke
that.
spectrum, and
I know.
No, we on the broke spectrum.
But you're right though. No, they really do support even when it feels like they're given a lot. Like
Right.
like for if it's a lot for them to buy like a $10 thing, they still will do that, and that's really meaningful. And it's you know like yeah, somebody can afford to just drop $100 without thinking, and that's great, and it helps us pay our bills. But like it does mean a lot when people come to a show and kind of dig deep. And it's been
Yeah.
helping a lot over the last few months too. You know, people
Hey.
are helping a lot.
Who you tell?
And that's the big thing is like what you just said. I think your fans really realize the importance of like spending money for artists, like you know, to keep the music going. Unfortunately, we all have to make money in the society. So, so I saw the super supportive fans y'all have.
You know, is this a good time to segue into the way you've been getting support with taking initiative, taking charge,
Taking ownership.
taking out?
That's the one. That's the one.
know,
Brian's been doing his
taking-
research, huh?
You're taking the jump.
You know,
Yeah,
getting the
that
keys
John,
to the
you know.
house. Driving the car,
You know what I mean? Getting it to John.
taking care of
but it's-
business.
we actually are really big fans of what you're doing out there. And I remember you started posting this idea on Facebook, and just watching it grow has been amazing. I'm so into it. But just go back to the beginning for all of the people that are watching the live stream right now to let them in on what you've been doing lately.
Yeah, so I started an organization recently. We're on our way to becoming a nonprofit. Right now, we're an LLC with a fiscal sponsor, and what we're doing is fundraising. We got volunteers and like over 200 plus volunteers, and resources. We're getting a lot of resources, and we are repairing and renovating Black-owned homes and businesses in Portland to help build equity, raise property values, and just improve like overall living conditions, and help these Black families stay in their homes because, like every big city really, but in Portland we have such a small Black community. It's dwindling, and especially the Black homeowner and business owner, community is even smaller. So we're trying to keep it intact. And this is just one idea I had. I'm a student at Portland State University, finishing my bachelor's in social science and Black studies. So I've learned a lot about systemic racism and oppression and how that's been implemented through, predatory development, predatory lenders, exclusionary laws that prevent Black folks and other marginalized communities from owning property because they understand that's the quickest way to generational wealth and building capital. So I'm just trying to keep those Black owners in their homes and also just like give them a little boost. It's like an avenue of reparations for them, and the support has been like amazing. I can't even express. I got to quit my job to do this full time recently.
Yeah.
Man.
So
the
now
best feeling, right?
yeah, it's the best feeling like to be a
Wow.
business owner and this is the most rewarding work I've ever done. I'm also, changing the course of my family's life, so yeah, it's been amazing, and it just started out with like me sharing ideas on Facebook of ways people can be stronger allies. I had a lot of white people slide into my DMs and ask how they can be stronger allies for the Black community and other marginalized communities, and I told them, you got to share the wealth, you got to share the resources, like I said on the song, and yeah, if you've had the privilege of or your ancestors had the privilege of benefiting from free labor and other exclusionary practices that benefited them, then and that, you share that, spread that around,
Yeah.
give it to the folks who didn't get the benefits, and they responded, and we're upwards of about $80,000 in a matter of a month off just pure donations, not even grants, just donations from the community.
That's so solid. Can we share the link for that in all the comments?
Absolutely, I could type it up.
No,
Yes.
We're gonna put that onto our all the places we're streaming right now.
yeah.
On,
So what's the best
Put it in
thing?
the chat, and then we can put it into our chat.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely the whole idea about the way that real estate has been a way that families have built wealth over time is something that I feel like I'm still in the process of understanding just how big of a thing that is and how much that's impacted the imbalance of wealth and power in this country. And so it was so cool to see you kind of find an angle to try to take that on.
Yeah, and the goal is the long-term goal is as we get more funding and hopefully get state funding. And honestly, we're getting a lot of media attention, and I'm in meetings with the city now, and W. Kamau Bell wants me on his show, United Shades of America, and I just met with his producers today.
Man.
Well, hopefully, I hope I didn't like jinx it, but I did have a meeting with his producers today, so hopefully it happens. They're coming to Portland.
We're going to be pushing our thoughts for it now.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, it's making big moves, and the big thing is I just hope that it influences like these other organizations to make their resources more accessible, and like there's a lot there. It's, what I'm doing isn't like super new, other than the fact that it's all coming in from the community. It's not like grant based. It's not all these stipulations and hoops you got to jump through to get to navigate it and get the resources. I'm just making it real simple. You need help. We're prioritizing like weatherization issues, prioritizing life safety issues to make sure that they're healthy environments. And then as we get more funding, we'll really start putting in work and even creating Black homeowners and business owners.
That's fantastic.
Putting that 20% down, So
yeah,
that's the goal.
Have you thought at all about like rental equity because I was just thinking about this the other day that like, you have renters paying homeowners, and I feel like there's got to be a question of homeowning equity there of like, I think I was reading about a place in Cincinnati that was doing a program. It's sort of like a rent to own sort of thing where what you're paying down on your rent can actually become equity, because otherwise like you're renting, you're not owning anything. You're not paying into creating generational wealth like you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean I love that. I remember when about 10 years ago I was trying to get into a rent to own program. I don't see those around anymore.
No, me neither.
I think it's like, yeah, I'd never seen those. I would love to do something like that. That's definitely big picture stuff. Yeah. One thing that I'm really like one step at a time. One thing I really want to do is own a home and turn it into, hopefully get a couple homes, but turn one of them into like a temporary housing, because we get situations where the homes are such bad condition, need so much work that these people need to be out of there when we're working, and it's it's so difficult to find temporary housing in Portland right now. And that could be, pandemic related, but it's just not easy. I'm telling you, the resources are there. It's not easy to get them. And there are tons of vacant buildings and homes in this, houses, I should say, in this city that could easily be housing for homeless folks. And yeah, it's sad. So that's the goal. That's what my organization is going to be all about: accessibility to resources.
So the link is in the chat there for YouTube and Facebook and Twitch people watching on the stream. Go check out Taking Ownership PDX because they are doing really great work to help with that real estate inequity and build some of the equity for the community there.
And if you feel so compelled, spread the wealth.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Brian was talking about starting one in Baltimore, right?
Yeah. There's been talking about just better housing for folks. I remember looking for a place to rent in the city, and some of the places that they put up for rent were gross. Warped floors. Doesn't seem like there's any air conditioning in the place, and I just want to see this city better. It's funny. I just talked to one of the Baltimore officials this week about adopting a lot so we can store a lot of the raw materials we need for fixing up places. And it's a lot of talking with different community organizations, but I'm excited to start the work. So,
yeah, man,
you're definitely a big inspiration in continuing the work, man, because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of
work, man. Oh my God, it's a lot of work. But it's so worth it. And I got a team now. I don't like the admin stuff. I don't like the paperwork stuff. I like to be there with the families, talk with the families, and
ain't you blessed?
But yeah, I'm a front lines kind of guy. But all that paperwork, they make it real difficult to do things in this country, man. Let me tell you, it's tedious and it's just so much. You gotta have a lawyer. You gotta think about covering your ass, and I've already had, it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot, but it's worth it.
Hey, we got a question coming in from the comments over on Twitch. Shellshot is asking, she's donated once, but is there a way to set up a monthly subscription to help out the cause?
I'm glad she said that. So yeah, well, we're gonna do that. We're gonna make it subscription based once we are officially a nonprofit. Right now, we just kind of want it because all the money goes through our fiscal sponsor, and so it's a little, it adds a little bit more. I don't want to say barriers or challenges, but there's an extra element to accessing the funds. So once we get our 501c3 paperwork done and we're officially a nonprofit and have our own account, we're going to have it like that for sure. We're going to make that subscription based for sure.
Terrific.
In the meantime, just send it in when you can, and we do get the funding, but it's just I would like to set that up once I have I can see the money and.
And over on the YouTube, we have our man Keith Gibbs says he's got connections to hook you up with. So we're going to make an introduction over there between you and Keith Gibbs. He's awesome.
I actually just forwarded him your information. So
yeah, dude, you want things working out for you, Project Ninja. This is the Project Ninja that dude gets done. Gibbs, we got to bring you out to Portland. One of these times,
yeah,
you got to come out to Portland.
Just to give a little more of the
bring him on tour.
Right?
To delve underneath this, I would love to hear Randall, hear you talk about kind of the background of the issue of people having a hard time staying in their homes and the way that these homes get lost to people in the community.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, it starts with the city deciding they want to develop something. We had a neighborhood called Albina that was a thriving Black community, but then the city decided that they want to build I-5 and a hospital and a mall, and then they just tear down. They buy them out and tear down the houses and then build that up and displace them and move them over here. Also, it just comes down to like property taxes. we often say, like, if a new seasons, I don't know if y'all have new seasons out there, but it's like a health food store that we call it the mark of the beast.
We don't have health foods.
We don't have health food.
Mark of the beast.
Once the new seasons pops up in your neighborhood, things are about to change, and property taxes are going to go up, and then it gets harder for the families to pay those. And then when people moved to the city, Portland got hot, right? You know, Portlandia was a big show. They talked about it's the place to go for, you know, it's the place for where young people go to retire. And then we just have this influx of people who move in with money from, you know, California, all over the place, and started buying up property and paying a hefty prices, which also raised the property taxes. And then predatory developers and came in with, you know, knowing that some of these families are struggling to pay their bills, and they're like, hey, we got $300,000 cash for you right here. And of course they're going to take it. They're in desperate situations. They take the money. And then they realize, oh shit, I can't, I'm sorry, can you cuss on here?
Sure, go for it.
They're like, oh damn, I can't buy another house now. Like, what am I supposed to do? So I can't afford another home, to buy another home. And then the developers take that house and maybe they knock it down and build these huge complexes and charge $2,000 for a studio apartment or something. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it's gone down, and then everybody gets pushed out further and further because that continues to grow further out, and further out, until finally people just have to move to like small towns, and then the whole community just gets dispersed, and that's what's happened. Like, there's not really a consolidated Black community in Portland anymore.
They did something similar in DC. I mean, that happens everywhere, but the tricky thing they did in DC was they privatized the water utility, and if you couldn't pay your water bill, it's grounds for eviction. And the water bill kept going up because they pushed the price of cleaning the water, cleaning the Potomac, cleaning the waterways on the water utility, and the water utility just pushed down the people. So there's a lot of not just homes, but grave sites, community centers that are having trouble paying their water bill. I say having, but DC's turned over a lot in recent years, so they had trouble paying it.
Yeah, they're slick. They're tricky in their ways of displacing and gentrifying. They'll make it seem like it's just business.
Right.
Ownership, helping out with situations like that you've seen?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Taking ownership, PDX, helping out with kind of similar situations to that you see there, in terms of bills being a reason that people end up.
Yeah. We are definitely taking, like, I actually just had that with a family today. You know, I'm getting one of my board members who's a realtor to help her with like refinancing it because she got screwed over on some some predatory lender deal, and yeah, we're definitely trying to, but right now we're so new, and we're in funding, you know, we don't know, it's coming in, but we don't know like how much and whatnot because we're not getting like steady grants and things like that. So everything is really just like on a case by case basis right now. And like I said, we're prioritizing like life safety and weatherization issues right now before the 9 months of rain comes.
Like home maintenance is a big part of this too, right? So you found that people just not having the resources to fix things that need to be broken end up being more likely to sell and move out.
Absolutely. And then when your house is, you can get fines and get liens on your house for your house looking a certain way in these neighborhoods. You know, like people start moving in, they're like, oh, I don't like the way their yard looks, or the paint's chipping off their house, and they can get like nuisance fines and there's all kinds of fines. And that's a big part of how people get displaced, because they start getting liens put on their homes and they can't pay those fees. They're barely able to pay their mortgage, and now they have to pay another couple $1,000s because something's not up to code. But also, these are usually the people that are in that kind of working poor class, you know, where like 50% or more of your monthly income is going to your mortgage, and the other 50% is for, you know, to pay your bills and food. And that doesn't leave a lot of money to do home repairs. Home repairs are not cheap, you know. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I started this, like, to just let's get, a lot of these houses we're trying to help. We're also like working with the city to remove these liens, remove these fines, and all that as well. The big thing I think is just like kind of just waking up the city. That's really what I want to do. I want to light a fire under their ass and be like, look at what's going on around here. Raising awareness, like look what you're sleeping on and what you've caused. You have the resources. Help these people.
And some of that maybe wrench comes down to like the terminology that gets used. Like, it's just hearing you talk about this, I'm just reminded of terms that keep coming up because, like, we talk about like the origins of hip hop, and I've been reading about this, and a lot of it is in New York City at this time when, you're hearing terms like blight and terms like urban decay and terms like benign neglect that I don't know if they necessarily originated in New York, but I feel like maybe that is some of this stuff really you see for the first time maybe pronounced in New York in like the 70s into the 80s, and I just feel like so much of it kind of comes down to, like earlier you were saying, they make it sound like they're just doing business. Like on paper, you're just moving in, you're buying stuff, you're selling stuff. It's all fair. It's all good. It's all above board.
It's a free market.
We didn't steal anything from you. We didn't force you out.
Yeah. To them, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's no emotion in it. To them, the average human is expendable. So to them, it is business. We're not humans. We're commodities.
Yeah. Right. And They make it seem like they make it seem like everybody has a fair chance in this society, and you should just be able to pull yourself up by your bootstrap and just get it done, And they blame being poverty stricken on the person who's poverty stricken instead of the system that was designed to keep you. I mean, it's literally expensive to be poor. Yeah. Think about the concept of overdraft fees. Mm-hmm. You don't have money in your account, so let's charge you more money. Mm-hmm. So yeah, of course they're gonna put that on you, and
right. People with fewer means get higher interest on loans.
Yep, the idea of credit scores even. So you can't keep your credit score high, then now you got to pay. Yeah, you got to pay more on this. You can't get access to certain housing. You can't do a lot of things if your credit score is poor.
And maintaining your house, like you let something go for a few months, like I can't really pay the money to fix it now. Now it's a bigger problem. You got a larger leak. You got water damage. You got mold damage. You got some other thing.
A funny thing I heard, a friend of mine, a Vietnamese friend of mine, she was telling me about how her parents used to let the yard go and grow certain weeds and herbs in the yard. And the neighbors would complain all the time and start hitting them with fines constantly. And, these are folks that are fresh from Vietnam, and they don't know what's going on. They're just trying to grow their herbs, and apparently the neighbors went in and just mowed the lawn, like got rid of all the herbs, cut it all down, just got into business.
I know, like how dare they use their soil to grow food and herbs?
Yeah, like
you should be growing grass that's useless to everybody.
Well, the amount of laws against having useful gardening space in your front yard in so many towns in this country, I don't know. It's always, everybody has a line. That is a line for me.
Well, yeah, they don't want you growing your own food, man. Then you're not going to get it from New Seasons.
You can't do it in the front yard because then people could just walk by and just pick it, and that would be bad. Because then you'd be sharing food.
Oh yeah, terrible.
This is probably an offshoot, but something I heard when it comes to GMO seeds or seeds from GMO products, you can't grow that. You can't grow that in your own yard, and if you do grow it, you could get hit.
Oh, Monsanto's will get you.
Yeah, that shit's wild to me.
Oh yeah, they own that. They brand seeds. You know what I mean? Like they own seeds.
That's why I stick to heirlooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of a tie back to generational wealth. I don't know, like generational plants, but yeah. What are you seeing? I want to know, what do you see? Because I think having you on this talk with us is just such a major eye-opener for a lot of people, and I really hope that they go to the site and check out pictures and everything. But, like, what do you see that you feel like people outside of Portland, or people in Portland, hell, that don't know, that you would just like to share?
What
happened?
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman died.
What?
Yo,
No.
what?
No. No.
Holy shit!
Wait, say that again. Who did?
Chadwick Boseman.
No.
It can't be right.
No. Oh snap.
This is really bad. This is really bad. What?
Wow.
Colon cancer.
Holy fucking shit!
Wow.
Wow.
Oh damn!
Just gonna have a moment of silence.
Oh damn! Holy shit! I didn't mean to interrupt like that.
You interrupted so much.
We're breaking the news, and a lot of people are finding out about it here on the live stream.
Wow.
A lot in the comments too of people that are like, yeah, that stuff goes on in my city too. So this is definitely something that's exportable as the whole idea of this nonprofit.
Yeah, and to touch on what Danja was saying, I mean, things that people may not know is, the predatory developers are at these people's doorstep like daily, weekly, trying to buy them out. Like that pressure, it's really sad, they can't really like live in peace and just be like, no, I'm keeping my home.
I saw I saw
It's
a block.
just so many little systemic things going on, like all kinds of different like agencies and just branches of our system that like try to prey on these people in such a way and get their home and just find a way to profit off of their home and flip it and it's just sad like what they have to deal with just to keep their home.
I used to live on a block in D.C., Hertford Avenue in Columbia Heights, and house by house, they kept on knocking on the doors asking for people to sell, and eventually a lot of them did, and it was sad because it was a good little community there. We had nice block parties. There's a guy across the street that always loved to make sure the whole block was clean. He just paced the street and the alley sometimes, picking up trash, helped him out sometimes, and all that little bit of culture, that little bit of culture on the block is gone now. And I mean, there's new people that are there, but they all work for the State Department, and they're not very friendly.
Yeah, and that's the big part is you just lose that culture. And another one would be I posted a article the other day about like appraisal. You know, an appraiser will, you know, uh, absolutely appraise a black home lower just because it's a black family in there. Uh, in this article, this black woman, is married to a white man, and they had an appraiser come in and go through the home. There's African art and pictures of the family up, black children and all that, and they got a significantly low appraisal. And then they did an experiment and they took out all the African art and any signs of blackness. They took it out, and only the husband was home. Only the white husband was home. Did the appraisal again, and it went up like I don't remember the exact number, but it was like $80,000 to $100,000 or something like that.
Jesus Christ!
Something like that. Yeah. So that was news to me too. I just learned about that a couple days ago. So yeah, it's just predatory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that article was really eye-opening, by the way. Thank you for posting that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that article and it's just an example of how like basically, how they've allowed this hierarchical thinking to basically rob an entire community's wealth by undervaluing it in one way when they actually do have it, and then denying them access to even live in areas through redlining. Like,
Yeah.
okay, the bank won't even give you a loan if you're trying to buy a house in these areas, and that's still going on now.
Absolutely, yeah. They used to just bomb these places. Remember Black Wall Street? They were like, "Oh, y'all are doing way too good. We're just gonna drop a couple bombs on y'all."
Yeah.
Yeah, and they literally, if a black business was doing better than a white business in a close proximity, they would just kill that owner. I mean, that's how it used to be done.
Well,
Can't
most
quite
of the
get away with it
majority-
like that, huh?
I mean, the majority of the people that were lynched during the period of time when lynchings were most prevalent were black business owners.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And Tulsa wasn't the only burgeoning black economy that was burned out of existence.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Wilmington, North Carolina is one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Several towns in Florida.
Yeah, Wilmington, I didn't know about. I think a lot of us got hip to that one recently, and honestly, I've been trying to do some work because my family's has its roots from the Carolinas on my mom's side, so I guess there's a reason why we ended up in DC.
Yeah, and I think that's important that people know that, because that just completely debunks the whole pull yourself up by your bootstrap mentality. It's like, we've been trying to do that. It's fresh out of slavery with no reparations or anything. They just gave us a pat in the ass and said, "Good luck. We gave you a bunch of trauma and a bunch of shit. Good luck." And we've still flourished in a lot of ways, but then could get shot back down. And that's the system still does that in different ways. A little more sneaky, a little more slick about it now, but still there.
And you got to look out for it a little bit more too now, right? If it's less obvious, like it's less violent, so perhaps that's good if people aren't losing their lives, but they're still losing so much. And if it's more insidious, it can just be that much harder to spot. And I feel like you probably have a lot of people, I know for a fact you have a lot of people going around thinking, well, it's so much better now. Like we fixed the problems.
Right.
It makes it a lot more invisible for the people that have the privileges. So like what you're saying about appraisers, they were able to kind of uncover that because that one family could pose as the white family or the black family. A white family may get that higher appraisal, and that doesn't make it clear to them that they're getting a higher appraisal than somebody else would. That's just invisible to them. They think, oh, that's just what the house is worth. And so that inequity goes sort of unseen by the people who are benefiting from it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that is a big reason why we have such divisiveness. I think is just lack of exposure and conversations. In America, white people can live in areas where they exclusively only see white people and really only interact with white people, while people of color have to interact with white people in some regard, because we can't. I mean, I don't know if you ever seen Killer Mike's show Trigger Warning, but he tried to live off of black-owned everything in Atlanta, of all places, and damn near starved to death on a park bench. So we have to go. So much is owned by white people in this country that we have to interact with them, and we have to be exposed.
Our son was saying something really cool in a video that he did recently. He was just saying, like, if there's anybody, any rural folks that are misguided, they can go to him. He was saying, like, they can talk to him, and that's something big to say, because those conversations can be really tiring now. So I know our son's not there, but our son, wherever you are, thank you.
No, for real, that's absolutely right, man. It is exhausting, but it's necessary. And I'm not mad at somebody wanting to learn and ask questions, and that's a big reason why I created Taking Ownership too, is just so people. I know a lot of people wanted to be involved. A lot of allies wanted to feel involved too, in like the remedy or in the solution. Yeah. And that starts with asking questions.
I think my friend Audra was looking to be in the program. Did she ever hit you up?
At this point, I couldn't even tell you, man. I've had so many people hit me up.
That's good. That's good.
It's a good thing, but I've definitely left a few people hanging. So if I haven't responded to your message or anything, I apologize. I've been pretty inundated.
I want to touch back on that once again, that like what you're talking about is home ownership and like the way that our communities are laid out affecting how we know each other, affecting who we're exposed to. So if it feels like, I don't know, just feels like things are more divided, or I'm more isolated, or I don't really know what's going on, yeah, like that is happening, and
That's the fact.
it's way more complex than people might realize. Like, you don't just live where you are. You know, this is all so much of you're where you are and they're where they are because of so much stuff that's happened over history and continues to happen today.
Right, it's by design. There's still a lot of segregation. The only difference is now we are allowed to buy from white businesses. Back the one of the very very few benefits of segregation and Jim Crow was we had to have our own businesses. We had to have our own hospitals, our clinics, and own like a dollar could rotate in the black community for 2 days. Nowadays, I think it can go around the black community for 6 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the difference. Man, we brought this down, man.
Yeah.
It's good. We're getting into it. That's one of the things I love about these group talks with the band and our special guests is just like getting really, really down into it and delving into some of these things for us to talk about and make explicit.
To say something optimistic on that last point, the black economy isn't very big right now, but it gives us an opportunity to observe the other sort of economic cycles that are going around that are really unhealthy, because America's built on a lot of unhealthy economic cycles, and we can do better.
We can, absolutely. It's going to take sharing resources.
Talking about that.
Yeah, and it's also it's also giving us an opportunity to what would they say? Necessity breeds innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at a point where, because of all the adversity, because of realizing that it's better off if we're better off for putting together our own infrastructure. It gives us this unique opportunity to focus. Now that everyone is isolated, there's a lot of opportunity for people to take ownership of where their money is going, make different decisions about who they spend money with, because now, especially now, we're at a time where people at least would pretend to be civil so that they could still accept your dollars. But now we're at a point in time where people are upfront with who they are. So now we know not to spend money with them.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
So what that does is that now that gives those with the wherewithal the opportunity to set up, spaces to fill the void where those monies were going previously. Okay, it's like, okay, we're not going to go to these guys anymore. I'm going to be the guy now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's a great point.
Yeah. So I got a question to frame for you, Randall. I know you're out there in Portland on the West Coast, and we're out here on the East Coast, and our audience is just kind of all over everywhere. If somebody wanted to try to start or get involved with the sort of thing that you're doing where they are, do you have any advice for them there? Because I think the strength of what you're doing is that it's local, that it's Portland, it's your community, and that sort of thing probably should be happening everywhere. So do you have any advice for somebody who wanted to maybe not start a whole thing themselves, but just get a sense of what's going on in their community like this?
My situation is really, I feel like kind of particular, being that I had a platform prior to this with my music, and I've been activist, and I've been doing like projects like this in my city for a long time, for my entire adult life. So I built like a lot of trust with my community, and I think that's what helped this take off so fast. I don't know if that would work if otherwise, but um, I would just say like one thing I did that I think really helped this take off was I started really guerrilla style on purpose. Like I didn't wait to get contracts drawn up and waivers and make sure that the city was okay with me doing this.
You know
And
what? I'm gonna just do this and see what we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Exactly.
One saying that I love is forgiveness is easier to get than permission.
Exactly. And I was just like, send me your money, and I'm gonna allocate it to the black community. And I think that was what resonated heavy, is because when things are changing, I think a lot of people are tired of red tape and waiting on the government and waiting on the city and waiting on a nonprofit who has to wait on all that red tape to do anything. And I just said, here's a house that needs some work. Let's figure out how to fix it up. And I highly encourage that. And I'm picking up the pieces now, and I'm getting my organization's becoming legit. And I got a lawyer now, and I got all these things now. And who knows what's going to happen during tax season? I'm not really worried about that anymore. I might get hit, and the IRS might get in my ass, but that's all right because I helped a bunch of families along the way, and that's what matters most. So that's my advice to somebody who wants to get something started. Just get started and do the work first.
Yes.
All right. So when you see taking ownership, PHL.org.
I want my royalties.
I got you. Got you.
10% goes back to the top.
Got you, man.
Exactly what I'm promoting against. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that mogul.
Mm-hmm.
No, I hope this goes everywhere. It doesn't have to be taking ownership and be called whatever it wants to be called. I just want the work to get done. I never imagined this actually turning into like an organization that I can actually pay my bills on and like actually work for. I never thought I was gonna volunteer to do this, but along the way I was like, well, this is hard work and this is taking up most of my time. I also have to like make this I have to feed my family and stuff. So just get the work done. I love that.
Man, this has been beautiful, man. It's been beautiful having you on here. I've been excited about this chat for a while.
Man, I'm having a blast. I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for having me. For real. This was a great conversation.
Can I ask another Portland question?
Sure.
So as Dan mentioned, we're all here on the East Coast, and we're getting so much. Let's just say you could think any number of different things was actually happening in Portland based on what source you're going to. So you're actually there, with your family in quarantine to some extent. Can you just tell us what's actually going on in Portland, what you've witnessed, what it's like for you in this time there right now?
Yeah, we're sticking to our guns out here. Our protesters are sticking to our guns. We've been out there over like 90 days now, consistently. They've deployed, federal agents on us. My man Max Smith, who's getting a lot of national attention, he's a big leader in this protest. He said it. They came out there first with hula hoops and just like peaceful playing in a park, protesting, speaking their minds, and they shot tear gas at them. So then they came back with masks, and then they started shooting rubber bullets at them. So they came back with vests, and then they started, aiming for the head, and so it's definitely. In our PPB was doing that too. Our police were doing that too before the federal agents came. So they've been very violent with us from the jump. It's sad to see that. It's sad that we're supposed to have this right to just speak what we want, and we're literally just asking. We're literally saying like we live this life. Something's not working for us. Can we figure out a way to make this work for more people? And they respond with tear gas and rubber bullets instead of being like, okay, let's have a conversation and let's figure out how we can all work together and make this happen. And that's what's going on here is people are sticking to their guns. Sure, there's maybe some people in the protest that you can't account for every single person's actions. Like some people might do some bullshit out there and then they want to say, oh, all the protesters are bad because somebody did this or that. But you can't account for everybody. But for the most part, people have been out there peaceful, speaking their minds, and the escalation usually starts with our police and with federal agents.
And some
Yes.
people are also like painting the scene as like the whole city is like engulfed in chaos or something. So
Oh, that's no.
yeah, just tell us about living in Portland right now. Like, what's the actual like impact on regular life?
Honestly, it's very concentrated area, like a really small area. And the protests they do move around. Sometimes they go to the suburbs, sometimes they'll be, but you can go through Portland and not even see a sign of protesting, no problem. Like I don't ever see them out in my neighborhood or anything like that. You usually have to go downtown, and there's certain areas, where the government buildings are. That's usually where the protests are going. But it's not complete chaos here at all. I go out, have drinks, and with friends and have a good time. I'm not fearing for my life or anything like that. No, it's really not that crazy here.
Stuff's not on fire. People aren't looting in the streets.
Not that I see. I mean, you can in some concentrated areas, sure, maybe, and maybe some particular people, but it's not like it's just going. It's not like it's just like running rampant and everybody's busting down all these businesses. There's thriving businesses here right now. There's a lot of things intact. There's a lot of people supporting the protest, business owners supporting the protesters. A lot of people who understand that property is not more valuable than human life, and yeah, it's just funny. Like,
just in case it needs to be made clear, I think in general, our fans that are watching the stream right now aren't necessarily the ones that need to hear this, but nobody needs to grab their gun and come defend Portland from somewhere else.
That's not. Yeah, we're not doing that.
Don't do
Jesus
that.
Christ.
Don't do that.
Hey,
Don't do that.
Let's
I
stay.
mean, Randall, do you like watch the national news about Portland? I don't know why you would do that because you live there. But have you seen some of the stuff that's being said about Portland? It's wild.
I've seen some of it, but not much. I don't watch a whole lot of the news, man.
It's
Honestly, I'm so
wild.
busy doing what I'm doing, but I know they're talking crazy.
And this is what is going to inspire some like kooky people to think like, oh, I better like go grab my gun and I'll go like,
I better go rescue Portland.
Yeah.
It's already happening. There's a lot of Proud Boys out there recently, and things got real escalated. There's been violence. I think last weekend it was pretty violent actually in this concentrated area. But like I said, it's not like that everywhere. Portland's big.
And those guys could do a lot of help on their own by just staring their asses at home. And if they got to point their gun at somebody, just point it at themselves.
Real talk. It's not helping anything. It's just dividing. Like I said, this all could be if they would just listen to the people's needs and share resources, man. Share resources.
It probably it would be so many levels easier to just sort of be like, all right, let's, instead of trying to figure out how we're going to, haze and tear gas everybody and put them in jail, like just from a financial standpoint alone, like you would save so much money.
So much. And also from an environmental standpoint, that tear gas is not good for our environment. It's getting in our water.
That stuff sticks around. And I don't know if
we already know those guys aren't concerned about the environment.
Right.
I don't know if any of you guys have ever been tear gassed or pepper sprayed. It's whack.
I have.
It is whack.
I have on numerous occasions, and it sucks.
So that's a thumbs down from.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not
fun. If you can
Hard
avoid getting pepper sprayed, do it. We had to get pepper sprayed when I was training. So it was like, you have to know what this feels like, kind of thing. So like I had to do. I was there for. It was like, okay, well, we have to do this now. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm not doing this to anybody. This is terrible. Why would you do this to somebody else on purpose? No.
Women and children too, man. Let's not forget about that. There's women and children out there that got tear gassed.
Yeah. It's not even. Let's also not to forget the incorrectly named rubber bullet.
that things can be deadly. That thing
Those
can
are
be
those are
deadly.
not rubber bullets. Those are projectile batons.
Mm-hmm.
By calling them rubber
And
bullets,
they're aiming for
it makes
the
people
head.
believe that they're harmless when people are being maimed for life,
There's
and some people die from these injuries.
There's a whole club of people who have lost an eye from being shot directly in the head with these rubber bullets. And like it's like you say, Randall, they're supposed to be, you're supposed to aim them at the ground and bounce it off the ground, and that loses a lot of the impact. But no, you can just shoot somebody in the head with it, and it may not kill them. It may kill them, and you might just lose an eye.
Yeah, imagine basically they're being hit in the face with a rubber projectile, a hard rubber projectile that is heavy and dense. That is about this big. It is not a bullet.
Yeah. And it comes at you fast.
I don't know if they've shot this naked Athena lady, but it seems like her protest has been the best way. They haven't shot her yet. They haven't shot Athena. So maybe we just need to get naked and
They would shoot the shit out of your black ass. Don't do that. No.
If you're gonna do the naked thing, if you do the naked thing, you have to use the same strategy that Randy and I used to catch cabs in New York.
Yeah, you got to channel your inner white girl, and yeah, it's the truth.
Real talk, though.
It's the truth. Like,
It works. It works.
We're not red. Do not take your black ass out in the streets naked in Portland. No. No.
That's not happening, bro. No.
You will get your own riot squad. No.
He's got an 11-inch gun right there.
Yeah, those unmarked vans will swoop me up quick.
Real quick, dog. No.
One day I hope to live in an America. I would love to live in an America where that is possible. And where you can be like, yeah, do that. We'll see you for dinner.
The thing about in Portland, we do this naked bike ride every year where almost thousands of people.
They do it in Philly.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was saying let's just get a bunch of naked white folks out there at the protest and see if they back down the police, because that one person did a great job.
That's what I'm talking about. That's an ally right there.
That's how you get work done, right there.
Because we do live in that America, right? We live in America
with some valuable lives out there.
Yeah, we live in sort of at least two different Americas. We live in an America where some people can do some things and other people can't do those things, with vastly different consequences.
Would you be willing to get naked for the cause?
Me?
Dan, talking about Dan.
Man, you know I'm not.
He doesn't even. Dan does not need a cause to get naked.
Yeah, but it would be nice to have a cause. You know I'm already not wearing pants, so.
You might as well add on the cause. So.
Yeah, it's too easy. Give me something to fight for. I'm not sure what I'd be accomplishing though, but I'll do it.
Unfortunately, I'm picturing you playing banjo while
I was gonna say that too.
Don't
Come on. If anything's happening, banjo is going to be played.
Yeah. Eventually, I will have had enough, and then I'm going out there with the banjo and say, "This has to stop, or I am just gonna keep playing naked banjo," and the whole country will be fixed like that, like 5 minutes.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's all we needed.
I think we might have solved this problem.
A line
of pale naked people and Dan playing the banjo.
Yeah. It would be illegal very quickly.
Yeah. Well, this has been great.
Yeah. For real though, it has been great.
And I gotta say, we really look forward to the time when we can get together with you in person again. West Coast, or when you can come to the East Coast and we can rock some shows together again. It's going to be really great.
I need to get over there. Yeah, I definitely do. I had plans to do that too this year before COVID, but I would love to, and we would definitely will be seeing each other again.
And go find Taking Ownership PDX. So if you want to get involved, Taking Ownership PDX, and Shellshot asked, is there going to be a subscription? And Randall said yes. So a subscription option is coming. And any cause or any band that you really care about, that's the way to support them. Just subscribe so that, it's like a tithe, but for something that, you know, is part of, this is what I care about, this is where my income is going to go. So
And the big thing, you know, just to be clear, is like we do need funding more than anything. We have a lot of volunteers signed up. If you are somebody who is licensed, contracted, and licensed, bonded, and insured with a certain trade, that's also a huge resource for us because, you know, obviously, when I got into this, I was pretty naive about it, and I was like, "Hey, let's just get a bunch of volunteers and start swinging hammers at houses and stuff." It's a little deeper than that. You gotta have permits. You gotta, you know, you want skilled workers who actually do a good work to actually build equity and raise property values. So those are the big resources we need: funding, skilled, licensed, bonded, insured people, and and spread the word.
Yeah. Always do that, folks. It's free to share.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The word.
To share.
I
appreciate y'all.
The YouTube chat again for you guys that needed the link.
Yep. The link is on there on the chat, and we'll be seeing everybody again Friday nights with some more special guests coming up. But this was awesome having Randall Wyatt on with us tonight.
Yes,
It's a real pleasure.
Yeah,
My
man.
pleasure, y'all. Have a good night.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
true.
thanks, Randall.
Stay up.
See you, everybody.
All right. Should we stop streaming or do we do like a recap?
I don't know. That's a good way to wrap it up, I think.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
That
Are
Are
was,
you throwing up the live long and prosper? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
was
Start
dope.
check. Oh.
Yeah. I'm gonna let this. I'm actually gonna let this roll for a few
Also, turn it
seconds.
into.
I would just say that I'm really excited about the way that on October 2nd, Tracy McMillan, the special guest, is going to tie into some of this as a reporter who's reported on poverty and is really interested in looking at race, is doing some reporting, and I hope that we can talk about it without any problems with the book that she's working on. She's looking at actually coming up with numbers, looking at some case studies of the actual dollar amounts that people have because of their white skin that they wouldn't have otherwise, that like are surprising, totally shocking, and like looking at the real that like invisible stuff that you think is just like part of your normal life, and you're like, oh, that actually wouldn't be there if my grandparents hadn't had, been able to buy this house that had a racial covenant on it, stuff like that.
Yeah. And that maybe you get used to, and that you start even thinking, yeah, this should be this way. And even maybe I deserve this. I deserve to have this.
And it would be great if it was that way for everybody. But it's the fact that it's not is invisible. But having an investigative reporter go into it and like actually look up the documents at how much just houses around this country, just the part of the contracts in buying the house was that you couldn't sell it to black people. And
You know what?
lots of other little things that result in an actual monetary difference in your quality of life.
Actually, I'll take another moment to plug my brother's book.
Yes.
The black
Yeah.
tax.
I gotta speak honestly here. Like what you said, just like triggered me about my grandma's house off of Minnesota Avenue in D.C. My aunt and uncle weren't able to sell it for more than $150,000, and as soon as a white person owned it, it's now at $330,000, and they're building up that area finally, but they're building it up for it to get changed over. So
Yeah.
Maybe the solution is white renters.
In black houses.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
This actually gives me an idea for business. We'll talk about this offline.
Yes.
all right.
Don't want to.
All right, you heard it here first on the Gangstagrass live stream. Schemes are happening.
Yes.
So tune in next time. Are we going to every week at this point?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
We'll have
Yes, every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Yes.
And that's not to mention the regular times, Tuesdays, the Saturdays, where we're running our Twitch channel at least. So
Yep.
check those at all the regular times. But
tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Tomorrow at 3 p.m., we got the Wrench music
Mhm.
shindig.
that's right, only on Twitch though.
Only on Twitch.
Only on
That's
Twitch.
true.
You gotta go over to,
Gangstagrass.tv.
Yeah, you can get there really easy and watch the stream by just going to www.gangstagrass.tv.
yeah. But every Friday from here on out, we're gonna have some killer team streams, and this one is gonna stop now. So goodbye.